Hey guys, I just wanted to talk with you guys a bit about a topic that is related to the last couple of videos I've made, entitled, well, basically the topic's going to be how I censor myself, or how I block myself off from less than positive content on the internet while still being able to use the internet. First of all, I do have an ad blocker that I use on just about every site except for, of course, YouTube, because believe it or not, I don't want to be an asshole to these people. They create their content for a reason, and they want to be able to actually gain money from it. I don't use it on Facebook or any of the social media sites. Usually if I see a post that disturbs or makes me feel uncomfortable, I just hit the hide this post and then unfollow that person. But for the most part, I use ad blocker for one, because even on the most innocuous sites, you can find pretty horrible ads for pretty tempting content. And I tell you what, it's horrible. It's terrible. I can't do that. Second of all, I use an anti-adult content filter on my Chrome browser. I have installed it, and I've made sure to set a password and then forget it completely, so that I can never, ever, 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 ever see that kind of content on my browser. I have a similar program on my mobile devices, so that way I'm always keeping myself pure and clean from either violent or adult-natured content that I really do not need to be watching, because that draws me further away from God. Thirdly, I use only certain sites. I don't use Tumblr because, to be honest, Tumblr is about just as bad as any porn site out there. Because Tumblr, there are no censors. You can post whatever the hell you want, wherever the hell you want. It doesn't matter. The only way you can really create a safe space, well, listen to me talking about safe space. Why am I a spiteful snowflake? Yeah. Sorry, that was uncalled for. But the only way to find a relatively neutral area of Tumblr is to create your own. And even then, that can sometimes still be invaded by unwanted and unhealthy content. I also had to censor myself from, or shield myself from, a lot of food websites, because considering I'm going through a diet right now, which it's not the liquid diet. Watch my previous video on my day for that. My day a couple of days ago for that explanation. But being on a diet, I can't allow myself to see so many ads about food. Otherwise, or I don't even watch food videos on YouTube, because I'll end up craving food, I'll end up wanting food, and then I'll eat food, and then I'll go over my calorie limit, and I won't get anywhere. I'm doing my best to lose weight. I really am. When it comes to the kinds of stuff I watch on television, or the kinds of stuff I read on my tablets, I do read film fiction and fan fiction, but I only use non-M-rated tags, because I know even on fan fiction, even though there isn't supposed to be any explicit content, there still is. So I don't use the M-rated filter. I use K through T+. on both of them, and that's about it. I always have the adult filter or mature content filter on so that I don't see anything like that. Basically, I try my best to distance myself as much as possible from anything that may compromise my walk and my relationship with my Lord and Savior. As far as out in the regular world, how do I keep myself pure there? Well, for one, I make it a point to look away. I look away from other women because I'm a guy. I'm a sinful human being, or I'm a sin-natured human being, and I am susceptible and prone to gazing and staring at certain areas that are not appropriate to stare at. So I look away. I don't look at all. I read something, I listen to music, I focus on what I'm doing, but I stay as diligent as I can towards not staring at other people. I just, no. As far as the stuff I watch on television, sometimes I can't help that. I like watching Bones. I like watching the Matrix trilogy. I like watching some of these other shows. They do have racier scenes in them. I just choose to. If I'm watching alone, I skip past them. If I'm watching them with someone else, I look away. That's basically what I do. I tend to find ways to purify the area around me, purify the content I consume. That way, as far as I can tell, as far as I can manage, I'm doing what God would want me to do. It doesn't always work. Sometimes the filters fail. Sometimes something slips through the cracks. Sometimes I do catch myself glancing at someone a bit too long. But I try to never, ever, 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 ever allow myself to become so engrossed in a sinful behavior that I can't pull myself out, or that God can't pull me out. I guess there are other things I could talk about as far as staying spiritually clean, because it's not just sexual immorality or inappropriate content either. It's also emotional purity, emotional cleanliness and cleansing. I tend to really focus on meditation without the spiritual connotations of the Eastern religions, but just the idea of mindfulness, the idea of self-centeredness, the idea of calm. I do this so that I stay clean from any and all unhealthy forms of anger, which I have been prone to when I was younger, and I am prone to now still. I manage it better, but I still like to at least do more prevention than cure, because as everyone knows, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. That's what they always say. That's what I believe. Oh yes. When it comes to my depression and my other emotional problems that I have, I keep up with my medicines. I keep up, my physical needs medicines, because those do also help with regulating my emotional state, because my physical state's out of whack. My emotional and mental state is going to go the same way. So I keep myself healthy by taking my meds on time. I'm doing more exercise. I'm trying to anyway. And I'm managing to do better at being, what's the word? Diligent in my exercise. Diligent in my exercise, yes. Right now I can't do much. I do chair crunches. I sit out in the middle of my floor here. I sit on the edge of my chair, and I bend down until I can feel it tightening up in my stomach. Then I let loose, then I do it again, let loose, do it again, until I can't do it anymore because it's too painful. I do that. I do other things. I stretch out my limbs because that hurts, to be honest. I'm working on getting myself to a pure state of being, both spiritually and emotionally, psychologically and physically. And it's not easy, folks, but I'm doing better than I was. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys want to implement any of these tools that I use for actually, you know what? You probably have your own ways of dealing with not succumbing to the sinful pleasures of this world. So, if you guys have ways that I can improve my own approach, leave them down in the comments section below. I love reading your comments. I really do. I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are succeeding in your spiritual journey. And I will see you guys in the next video.